Happy day and welcome to First Choice Chiropractic Clinic. Today we're going to be talking about rehabbing our injuries. And before we get into specific exercises in order to rehab those injuries, let's do a primer on the injuries themselves. When an accident occurs, a car accident, a work injury, or an athletic injury, at that moment of injury, there's a large amount of force that's being applied to a certain aspect of the body, to your skeleton, to your frame, that's not used to having that amount of force. The resultant damage is almost always a strain to the muscles and a sprain to the ligament, which is just two terms that mean a violent overstretching of those soft tissues. So patients who come in with a sprain strain injury, we adjust them and we usually put therapy on them, and the therapy is designed to help the tissues to go from a damaged, overstretched, inflamed state back to a healthy, functioning state. There's a specific set of exercises for the neck that we use, and I'll demonstrate those for you now. The exercise is to move your neck in the 6 normal degrees of motion, ranges of motion, and then hold for 5 seconds. These exercises are an isotonic exercise, which means we're taking our joints through a normal range of motion and then holding that range of motion at the end or when there's tension, tightness, spasm, or discomfort. So for the neck, there are 6 directions of motion. You can rotate to both sides is 2. Side bend to both sides is 2 more is 4. Then you can do chin to the chest and look up to the ceiling. So the exercise, quite simply, is to go each direction as far as you comfortably can go, your range of motion, until there's tightness, stiffness, or discomfort, and then you just hold it with tension in that position for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, you always return to normal. Then you go the other direction and hold it for 5 seconds. Return to neutral. Then you have your side bending, 5-second hold. Come back to neutral. 5-second hold. Come back to neutral. Now we have the chin to the chest and the look up to the ceiling. A caution with the flexion of the chin to the chest is that we do not want to move our head off our shoulders, which means if I can turn sideways, I do not want to put my head off in front of my body. I want to leave my head up on top of my spine, so I tuck the chin in as far as I can tuck it, and then I bring the head forward. And when you do this, you should be able to feel it in your lower neck and upper back, holding for your 5 seconds, and then looking up to the ceiling. I do the same thing. I tuck in the base of the skull and then lean my head back and hold it for 5 seconds, and then return to neutral. There are 6 directions, and we're doing a 5-second hold. So once you get used to the motions, it's going to take about 30 seconds to go through this one time. I suggest you repeat that sequence 5 times, and that makes 1 set. Typically, I recommend 3 to 4 sets a day. And if you were to do 50 sets a day, it won't hurt you, it'll only help you. Because we're not stressing the joints out and we're stopping at tension and discomfort, it's not going to make you worse. The ideal home therapy would be to ice on your neck for about 10 minutes, do the exercises, and then ice again. And those are in your initial stages of recovery. Once you start to feel better, then I recommend you switch it around. Do the exercises first, 1 whole set, then ice for 10 minutes, and then do the exercises after the ice. And that is how you rehab a neck injury.